How to stop committing sexual sins. A sexual sin is a serious issue that can have a profound impact on our lives and our relationships. It is a topic that is often not discussed in most of our churches, but it is a problem that affects many people and can lead to a great deal of pain and heartache. The good news is that God has provided us with the tools and resources we need to avoid sexual sin and to live lives that honor Him. The Bible is filled with wisdom and guidance on this topic, and in this sermon, we will be exploring some of the key ways through which we can avoid sexual sin and live lives that are pleasing to God. As Christians, we are called to live lives that are pleasing to God, and this includes avoiding anything that might cause us to stumble or fall into sin. One of the key passages in this regard is found in 1 Corinthians 10 verse 12 and 13. Wherefore, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed, lest he fall. There hath no temptation taken you but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. This passage reminds us that we are all vulnerable to temptation, and that we must be careful to avoid situations that might lead us into sin. This is particularly true when it comes to sexual sin, which can have a profound impact on us. Number 1, we should not put ourselves in a position where we have to make a decision. One of the most important things we can do to avoid sexual sin is to avoid putting ourselves in situations where we might be required to make a decision on whether to commit fornication and adultery or not. When you find yourself in such a situation, just know that you are in a place where you are not supposed to be. 2 Timothy 2 verse 22, Flee also youthful lusts, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace, with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. The Bible instructs us to flee also youthful lusts. This means that we should completely avoid any situations that could be tempting to our flesh. There is a possibility that you could make a wrong decision if at all you are in a situation where you have to make a choice on whether to give in to the temptation or not. As the Bible puts it, we need to flee anything that brings the desire for sexual sin. Staying away from tempting situations is a wise way of making the right decision. If we do not have to make a decision whether to engage in sexual sin or not, we indirectly make the right choice. We need to avoid situations like being in private places with people who we are physically attracted to, watching pornographic content, and thinking too much about things that revolve around sexuality. This might also mean avoiding certain activities, discussions, or relationships, or being more mindful of our interactions with others. David fell into the temptation of sexual sin with Bathsheba because he put himself in a situation that was tempting. When he noticed a woman bathing, he did not try to flee the temptation. David watched the woman bathing and admired her beauty. Even after being told that the woman was Uriah's wife, he went ahead and sent for her. The intensity of the temptation had already gotten over him. 2 Samuel 11 verse 2-4. One evening David got up from his bed and walked around on the roof of the palace. From the roof he saw a woman bathing. The woman was very beautiful, and David sent someone to find out about her. The man said, "Isn't this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam and the wife of Uriah the Hittite?" Then David sent messengers to get her. She came to him, and he slept with her. She had purified herself from her uncleanness. Then she went back home. All this could not have happened if David did not lustily watch Bathsheba after noticing her bathing. Genesis 39 verse 12. She caught him by his cloak and said, "Come to bed with me." But he left, cloak in her hand, and ran out of the house. Joseph did the opposite of what David did. He did not want to think twice on whether to sexually engage himself with Potiphar's wife or not. He ran away from the scene of temptation. We should not trust ourselves too much. We should not make the mistake of trusting ourselves too much when it comes to avoiding sexual sin. This is a truth that we all need to face, that we are not strong enough to resist temptations on our own. This is not a judgmental statement, but a fact that many people find awkward. We all have urges, desires, and passions that can lead us down a dangerous path if we are not careful. That is why the Apostle Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians 10 verse 12, "If you think you are standing firm, be careful that you don't fall." This is a perfect reminder that we all need to be vigilant when it comes to our spiritual lives, and that we should not put too much trust in our own abilities. One of the biggest mistakes we can make when it comes to avoiding sexual sin is to trust in our own willpower and strength. We might think, "I am a good person. I will be able to resist temptations," or "I won't let myself fall into sin." Unfortunately, our willpower is often not enough, and we can quickly find ourselves caught in the grip of sexual sin. In all honesty, in order to chase after holiness, your lifestyle will have to change. Even if it is hard to choose holiness in the world we are in today, still choose holiness. Remember that without holiness, there is no way you can see God. Hebrews 12 verse 14, "Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord." In the world today, holiness has become a weird thing that people will mock you regarding. If you do not follow their ways, they will say you are too holy. There is a phrase that they always use as an excuse: "Nobody is perfect." That one phrase has caused many people to walk in the pit. That phrase has destroyed many lives, and it is still counting. We need to stop using that as an excuse to go into sexual sin. I want you to make the decision today that it doesn't matter what the world may become. It doesn't matter what society may say. You will choose holiness over sexual immorality. Make that covenant with God today that it doesn't matter what may happen. You will always stay truthful to your partner and not defile the marital bed. Make a commitment today that you will not go around fornicating. Choose righteousness. What is your life promoting to the world right now? You come to church, you listen to messages, and you love it. Maybe you even forget the sermon before you leave the church, or maybe you remember. What I want to know is, what is your life promoting in the outside world? Can people see you and say you are a Christian truly? and they see you and say you are serving God truly? Are you righteous, and is your righteousness glowing in the world? You cannot claim to be a Christian and your life is preaching immorality. You need to change that now and choose righteousness. We mustn't be part of those choosing darkness. We must not be part of those who have discarded righteousness in their lives. The Bible says in Philippians 4 verse 8, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." Follow the path of Christ and join yourself with Him. Avoiding sexual sin is an important part of living a life that honors God. By being mindful of the situations and relationships we engage in, seeking the guidance and protection of God, and being proactive in our pursuit of holiness and purity, we can avoid sexual sin and live lives that reflect God's love and grace. We should also seek a close relationship with God and be sensitive to His voice and wisdom. This way, we will be more likely to resist temptation and to make choices that honor God.